Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss one of the basic concept in statistics. That's the mean, median, and mode. So we're just learning this from our school, right? So from then we just learning this mean, median, mode, but we don't know how we have to use that practically. So in this video, I'll just not only explain what is this mean, median, and mode, and also we will see practically how we can just use it. So let's start this video. So let's take an example of weights of students in a class. So let's take these five as the weights of students in a class, like weights of five students in a class. Now if someone asks like what's the average weights of students in this class, so how we can just do? So like in order to find a single value, so what's the central tendency, what's the average value? So in order to find that, we will just use this mean. So to calculate that, the formula is the total sum of values divided by a number of values. So here we just have five values. So mean is equal to so this is 158 divided by 5. So the mean is 31.6. So this is the average value. So this is how we can just find the central tendency, the middlemost value. So this is mean, and similarly median. So in order to find median, so the median is the middlemost value in the data set. So in order to find the median, what you can just do is first we should arrange all the data in ascending order, then we should find the middlemost value. So here this data we have, right? So first we should assign this in ascending order. So you can see I just adjusted this in ascending order. Then what we have to do is we should calculate the middlemost value. So you can see here, since we just have odd number of values, we can easily find the middle value, right? So you can see we just remove these two, and middle value is 28. So the median is here, the median is 28. And if you have even number of values, so then you can just take the average of the middle two numbers. For example, let's say if you have 50 and 55, then what you can just do is, since we just have even numbers, so you can just remove these two and these two numbers. You can just take average of these two numbers. So then the median will be this average of these two values, right? Middle two values. So then it will be 29. So that's how you just want to calculate median. And similarly mode. So mode is the most frequently occurred value. So if you just take this data, what's the most frequently occurred value, right? So you can see here we just have 25 is repeated two times. So that's the most frequently occurred value, right? So then the mode will be 25. So now, okay, we just seen what is mean, median, mode, and how to calculate this. But how we have to use it in real life? Like in which situation we just want to use mean, in which condition we just want to use median, and similarly mode. So that's the most important part, right? So mean, the most frequently used central tendency is mean. So since the reason behind that is we are just including all the data to calculate the central tendency, to calculate the average. So mean is the most frequently used central tendency. So even you can see here, in order to calculate the middle value, we just included all the values. So that's why this mean will be the most frequently used central tendency. But when you have outliers, right, when you have, or let's say some extreme values, so if you just take this data set, if you have in place of 50, for example, let's say if we have 100, so let's say 100 we have. So if we just in such a situation, if we just use mean, so then the mean will be 41.6. So you can see with the change of one value, the complete mean has changed. But if we see the data, So you can see all the values 25, 30, 28, 25, all is near to that of 30, right? But only due to change in one value, the complete mean has changed, the complete central tendency has changed, right? So that's why. So in such scenarios, when you have the extreme values, we just want to choose median. So if we just take for the same situation, for the same values, if we just calculate the median, even then the central tendency, like the average value will be 28, right? So since this is the middlemost value, so that's where this median is useful over mean. So when you have the outliers or let's say extreme values, so in such scenarios we can just use median over mean. And similarly mode. So mode, where we can just use mode. So if we just take an example of categorical data, like for example let's say gender. So when you have gender like in a class like male or female, so in such situation you can't calculate the average of values, and also you can't calculate the middle value. It won't give us the information. So in such situation we just want to calculate the most frequently occurred category. So then you can just use the, in such situation you can just use the mode. So that's this use, like that's this mean, median and mode, and what's this practical use case of those. And also this mean, median and mode will be useful for calculating, for treating missing values. So it will be useful for missing value treatment as well in the data set. So let's see how we can just do that. So you can see the just imported necessary libraries, pandas, numpy and seaborn, and also I just loaded the Titanic dataset. Let's see the dataset. So this is how the data look like. Let's see how we can just use this mean, median, mode on this. So before that, let's see is there any null values or not. So for that we can just use is null of function. Like we can just use data dot is null of, and if I just give sum of, it will just calculate the number of missing values in each column. So you can see we have missing values in age column as well as this deck and embark town. So in these three columns we just have missing values. So let's try to impute these missing values using the mean, median mode. So for that, first let's try to impute the missing values using mean, right? So if you want to use the mean, the data should be continuous. So you can see here this age column. So when I just give data of age, you can see this is all the data are continuous, right? So we can just use the mean here to impute. So first let's calculate the mean of this column. So for that what you can just do is you can just call data of age dot mean of. You can just call this mean of function. So you can see the mean is 29.6, right? 29.7. So let's try to fill all the missing values using this mean. So data of age dot, right, dot, we have, in order to fill the missing values we just have this fill na of function. So fill na of data of age dot fill na of, and here you can just give the mean. So we'll just give this here, like we'll just give the mean here. So when I just give enter, now you can see it just filled that all the missing values with this mean. So that's how you can just use this mean to fill the missing values. So let's store this in a separate variable df. So if you just check df dot, you can see we don't have any missing values, right? So that's how you can just use a mean to fill the missing values, right? The mean will be useful for missing value treatment. And similarly let's try to fill the missing values. Let's try to fill the missing values using the median as well. So similarly, if you want to calculate the median, like the middlemost value, so how we just done the mean here, you can just use the same. Similarly, we can just use the median function. You can see the median middlemost value is 28. So if you just want to fill the missing values with median, you can just do in the same manner, right? I will just copy this, and you can see instead of this median, instead of this mean, we can just give median, right? Now if I just calculate, similarly if I just check is there any null values in this, you can see we don't have any null values, right? So that's how we can just use this mean and median to fill the missing values. So here you can see we just use this mean and median for the continuous data. So here the data, like we just chosen the age variable, right? The data in age is continuous, like the numbers. But if we just take this deck column, so here let's see how the data is available in this, how the data is in this deck. So you can see here the data is, you can see the categories in this, right? You can see the categories here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So these are the categories. So here we don't have continuous data, like either to calculate the, so to calculate mean or median, we don't have continuous data, right? So here in these situations, what you can just do, we can just use a mode to fill the missing values. So how you can just calculate the mode? So similarly, we can just use the mode function. So you can see we just got C. So this is the most repeated value in this column. So that's why we just got here C. And now we can just replace the missing values using this C. df is equal to data of deck dot fill na of, right? We're just filling this missing values in the deck column with the mode. So we just want to give here mode. Now if we just check, is there any null values? So you can see even when we just created this, when you just check the null values, we have 687 null values. So it didn't solve our issue, right? It didn't fill the missing values with this mode. The reason behind that is, you can see the output which we just got here, it's the series form. You can just check this type of this data type. This is in the form of series, right? So we just want this particular category, right? C. So what you can just do for that, you can just access that using the index value. So when I just give data dot deck, like we can, when I just give 0, like you can see now we just got C, right? This is the category, this is the string. So now let's use this to fill the missing value, right? In the previous case, what we just used in that is the series form, series type. So you can't fill that using series, right? So now if I just run this, you can see we don't have null values. So this is how you can just use this mean, median and mode to fill the null values. So this is how practical, right? This is how you can just use it. So that's it for this video, and we will just see in the next video. Until then, take care and thanks for watching.